Hey Shakers, and welcome to Worth Your Salt, the podcast that shakes up your marketing game in the health and wellness industry. Worth Your Salt is brought to you every Thursday by Salt Marketing. Salt Marketing helps health and wellness practitioners build trust and authority to attract a steady stream of inbound wellness seekers. For more information, you can visit us online at saltmarketing.co. I'm Jennifer Oraquah, StoryBrand Certified Guide, Marketing Strategist with Salt Marketing, and your host for today's episode of Worth Your Salt. So today we're diving deep into a crucial aspect of the health and wellness industry that often goes underappreciated, the power of offering products to enhance client outcomes and grow your practice. In our increasingly health-conscious world, clients today are constantly seeking holistic solutions to achieve their wellness goals. And my guest today has been highly successful in building trust and authority to offer his products online. Frank Davis is founder and CEO of Optivida Health, where his team is dedicated to providing effective, science-backed products that help people live healthier, fuller lives with more energy. Frank has been in the health and wellness industry for over 30 years and is passionate about using technology, research, and pure whole food to give the body the nutrients it needs to heal itself. Frank is here today to talk about how he has built this product-based wellness business and to share his strategies for success. Frank, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the health and wellness industry, most practitioners have a very personal story that led them to where they are. So I'm curious about yours. Tell me a little bit about your wellness journey.
Basically, it started virtually at birth because as a child, I had virtually every illness known to childhood illness that you could possibly get. I had the measles, the mumps, the chickenpox, even pneumonia as a little child. And in retrospect, I look back, I was virtually raised on antibiotics. And I'm convinced that it significantly compromised my immune system because I continued on throughout my teenage, growing up, and to adulthood, and just continually fought health issues. I had mononucleosis twice, hepatitis twice, pneumonia twice. I ended up with prostatitis in high school, different weird things that you would not normally see in youth. Anyway, when I was in my early 40s, continuing to deal with all these cyclical health issues, I ended up with chronic fatigue syndrome, which basically laid me out flat. I couldn't even go on a walk with my wife. And it was in that time frame that I was searching for solutions. I went to medical help, would recommend drugs and stuff. It wasn't quite ready to do anything like that. Everybody had an answer and a solution, and I was willing to try anything and everything, but nothing worked. I cannot live like this. I have got to find a solution. I started digging deep. I mean, I was researching. I was checking anything out. I ended up being referred to through one of my contacts to go to a symposium that was put on by a number of universities across the country, and it was entitled Foods as a Medicine. And they introduced this symposium by saying there had been more research done in the last 5 years than the prior 200 years, linking every known illness, every known disease to diet, to dietary deficiencies, what we're eating, what we're not eating. And it was kind of an aha moment for me. But one of the presenters, a woman from Champaign, Illinois, PhD, gave an exceptionally good presentation. Afterwards, I raised my hand and I said, this all resonates with me. Isn't there a wide variance in nutrient value in foods depending on where it's grown? How long it's been in transport, the condition of the soils, whether you use chemicals or not, whether you cook it or not. And anyway, she said, yes, there is a variance. All of the things that significantly impact the nutritional value of the foods. And so I asked her that, and she said, I said, would it not make sense if you could get those foods in a concentrated form and you could test them and you could know that all those nutrients are there? And she just basically responded, I'm a firm believer in whole food nutrition, which I am. It was just that I'm also aware that, today, no matter how hard you try, it's almost impossible to get the nutrients out of the food because it's not there. It makes all the sense in the world. Get your nutrition from food, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. But if the food is lacking, how do we overcome that? And that was the mission mission that I went on. I hired a registered dietitian who had her master's degree in clinical nutrition, who had developed a whole food supplement that I got on in this search. And within less than a month, I was over my chronic fatigue. I became convinced that you give your body the right nutrients, it will work miracles. Because if it could do it to me, I felt it could do it to anybody. And so this is a turning point in my life. I just said, okay, can this be improved upon? When I realized what the power of having these whole food concentrated nutrients and what it could do and how quickly it could do it, I said, it became my mission. And that philosophy is maintained ever since.
Yeah. And of course, finding a solution that worked for you was probably just the beginning. Yeah. I can see where you were inspired to share these nutrient-based products with the world. So tell me a little bit about the challenges that you faced early on in bringing these products to market.
Well, the interesting thing is, well, as I said, I was just doing it for myself. But so I would, with this registered dietitian, we'd bring all the products together. And initially I was doing it in capsule form. Well, I would have to go to a co-packer to have them blend it and package it for me, encapsulate it. And my minimum runs were 100,000 capsules. It'd take me a year or plus to even come close, even giving them away. And I said, this is crazy, because I was throwing half of it away because it would expire. When we harvested this kale and we were able to take it to a facility that I invested into that can reduce any fruit, any vegetable, any food to a powder form with zero loss of any nutrients, color, or flavor. It was a technology called OptiDry. It was an infrared technology. And I took that kale, and just to prove a point, I submitted that kale in a powder form that we had harvested that and dried the same day. And then I bought off-the-shelf organic kale, and I submitted them both to a lab to test them to see the nutritional differences. There was as much as 8 times the nutritional value in my powdered kale than fresh off-the-shelf kale.
Crazy.
And so when I started marketing these powders by themselves in Costco at the time, the name of it was Better Than Fresh. And I said, and that was my whole rationale is, why is it better than fresh? Because of where it was grown, how we retained all the nutrients and locked them in. Let's put it this way. Today, most people realize they're not getting all the nutrients out of their diet, and so they turn to supplementation. The problem is the supplement industry is worse than the food industry today.
Right. Yeah.
Supplement industry, by and large, is the pharmaceutical industry. They produce synthetic chemical isolates and call them vitamins, but all vitamins in nature are a compound, they're a complex in a food, and they work synergistically together. You can't take one fraction of it, synthetically produce it, and call it a vitamin. But that's the world we live in today. They take genetically modified corn, combine it with hydrochloric acid, and process it, and basically come up with a, quote, mirror image of the ascorbic acid. So they have one fraction of that, and that's what they call vitamin C. I can buy vitamin C. It all comes from China today. I can buy vitamin C in the form of ascorbic acid for $4 a kilo, compared to $116 a kilo for organic acerola cherry. Well, one does the body what it needs. The other, there are numerous studies like at Tufts University or other major universities showing that when you take ascorbic acid as your, quote, form of vitamin C, it creates genotoxins that mutate the DNA. It also contributes to arteriosclerosis. So it is not doing the body good. Price barrier that people are used to seeing inexpensive, cheap vitamins that are produced in laboratories versus something it is all whole food, where I have over 100 individual ingredients in there, all vetted out, all third-party verified to say, all the nutrients we put on that label are there. And
today you market your products across a wide variety of platforms and partnerships. And a lot of our listeners are, they have service-based offerings. So they have a gym or something along those lines. So how would you say that products like your nutrients can complement a service-based offering? Why would a client want both?
To do anything other than that, you're missing the mark. It's a holistic approach to our health. I'm what I call a wannabe athlete. I still compete. I'm 77 years old. I took the gold medal the last time I played in the World Senior Games in racquetball. I do basketball. I do biking. I do it all. Well, I was of the belief in my earlier years that you couldn't get enough exercise. Well, what they really have found out that high performance athletes in their intense exercising create as much antioxidant activity in the body as cancer. And unless you are giving your body the nutrients to counteract and counterbalance and nourish your body to where you're not only replenishing, but you're able to build and heal and all the things that those nutrients do, you could be doing, again, more harm than good in some respects. I think exercise without proper diet, without proper nutrition you're missing the mark.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what do you think has made Optivida so successful? Is it the power of the products themselves? I mean, you've built a very trusted brand, or even the great marketing you do that includes loyalty programs and subscription-based fulfillment. What's the secret sauce for Optivida?
The secret sauce, honestly, is just the efficacy of the products. We're a relatively small company in perspective of this industry, but we probably have the highest retention rate of anybody because it works. People feel the difference. They notice the difference. I get it all the time. Unsolicited testimonials. Everything I produce in Optivida, I take personally. And I developed it because of my research and said, okay, this is kind of a missing link in our nutritional thing. And here is a great whole food source for it that I can trust, whether it be my vitamin D or whether it be, like I say, my flagship product called Complete Essentials. It's named Complete Essentials because it basically contains everything in terms of the nutrients the body needs to function like it was designed to function. I would say without question, it is the efficacy of the product that people experience. A guy called me today from Hawaii, takes our Complete Essentials, and he says, I tell everybody, I share it with everybody. This is what it's done. And it's that word of mouth. It's that efficacy that just has made it so successful.
Yeah, that's outstanding. All right, Frank, I think we're all beginning to understand why you do what you do. I need to take a quick sponsorship break right now, but when we return, let's talk about how you're able to communicate the value of your products. Stay with us.
The Worth Your Salt podcast is grateful to our partners and sponsors, including our client, Paleoscalio.
Your health and wellness clients deserve nutrition inspiration that's easy and delicious. I'm Jessica Scully, owner of Paleoscalio. No matter if your clients are looking for dairy-free, gluten-free, great veggies, or fantastic protein sources, Paleoscalio provides the balance they need. Visit paleoscalio.com for fantastic recipes and resources, healthy shopping lists, and entertaining stories that will keep your clients engaged in their healthy journey. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and subscribe at paleoscalio.com to start getting healthy recipes that pack a punch of flavor in your inbox every week.
I'm back here on the Worth Your Salt podcast with Frank Davis, founder and CEO of Optivida Health, the #1 provider of nutrient-based products in today's market. So, Frank, what strategies do you use to talk to people about your products? What can our listeners say to overcome resistance or skepticism from their clients if they're introducing product recommendations?
I guess there's two things. One, as I was mentioning, I don't really sell my product through, retail outlets, primarily because you put it on a shelf, you can't tell the story. You can't tell people what separates this product from every other one on there and why it's so efficacious and maybe cost more because they'll look at, as I say, they could go on and say, oh, here's vitamin C, ascorbic acid, $9.95. Oh, here's another vitamin C, Optivida. Oh, it's $19.95. Yeah, I'll take the cheaper one. Vitamin C is vitamin C, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Well, it isn't. That's the problem. And how do they know that? So my marketing is usually a platform, something like we're doing right now, or a television show, or where I do presentations, all the information that I have to show why you have to get the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients from whole foods. And I'll also show why there's a problem today getting it from the whole foods, and then the problem trying to get it from the supplement industry. And then, so what is the answer? The whole food concentrates. Well, not all whole food concentrates are created equal. I'll have to show why this technology is such a game changer that can take these whole foods grown in nutrient-rich soils, etc., reduce them to a powder form, and be submitted to a third-party lab for testing.
Well, and you mentioned this product marketing really begins with market research, right? And understanding your target market and their needs. So how does Optivida meet the needs of different target markets, say women or those who are concerned about aging?
Well, there's one thing to get the nutrients your body needs to function and operate the way it was designed to operate. Mm-hmm. The other is in today's society, I would say probably 80 to 90% of the food we eat is either processed or cooked, very little raw foods. So, and very nutrient deficient. So what happens is our body basically says, nice try. I didn't get anything out of it. Keep it coming, because there's no satiety. Mm-hmm. So when you nourish your body on a cellular level, it creates satiety. I have examples of people who have been on complete essentials who just integrated that into their diet with our protein as almost like a meal replacement. One individual that, lost over 100 and some odd pounds in 1 year with nothing else different, but he was morbidly obese at the time. But he said he could never feel satisfied. And that was the major difference. So, for anybody that wants to not only get the nutrients their body needs to function and have energy and stamina, but to maintain proper weight and not be continually hungry. Mm-hmm. I use this analogy that most people running around today are operating on 4 cylinders and have no idea that they were created with 8, because we've been given it 4-cylinder fuel. We don't operate anywhere near as optimally as we could. Mm-hmm. This is why people stay on this product, because they notice the difference. I've had more people come back that, maybe quit for a while or forgot to take it. And that's when they said they noticed the main difference, when they quit taking it and realized how much it was impacting their health, their energy, their stamina, their vitality.
Mm-hmm. Well, and truly, marketing a product, and you alluded to this when you were talking about, not going into retail establishments because you just can't explain it. But you've got to pay attention to customer feedback and market trends and find that unique position in the marketplace. So I'm wondering how Optivida maintains this best-in-class status when there are so many supplements out there and so many products. How do you rise above that? How do you differentiate?
Basically, it is messaging. It is getting out there. And I realize I can't penetrate all markets, but for people like you, like your audience that are into health, into wellness, into nutrition, that are curious, they want to know the differences. And I've done seminars where I said, you bring whatever you're taking. I'll tell you what the problem is with it. Most people are taking some supplements today. Yeah. And then their foods are fortified with, quote, synthetic supplements. Mm-hmm. And I'm just telling your people to go in their pantry, look at any of their pastas, their breads, their cereals, and just look at their label and look at B12 that will be added in there and see what it says in parentheses. A majority of the time, by far and away, will say cyanocobalamin. Well, what the heck is that? Well, the cyano is cyanide.
Right.
Now, how does a dead, toxic, carcinogenic chemical benefit an organism like the body? Mm-hmm. To me, it's impossible. But that's the chemical industry controlling what now is called vitamins.
Yeah, that's really fantastic insight. It really is. I think we all should take stock of what it is that we're actually putting into our bodies. All right, Frank, it's time for another quick break. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to the Worth Your Salt podcast, and today I'm talking with Frank Davis, founder and CEO of Optivida Health. Frank believes that food is medicine and has been helping people improve their health with his highly effective product-based nutrition solutions since 2017. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so be sure to join us over on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, and let us know how you're incorporating products into your wellness offering. So, Frank, there's quite a bit of science and research that goes into your product development. Can you tell me a little bit about your process?
In putting this flagship product together, it was what is the optimal blend of all these fruits, vegetables, grains, cereals, botanicals, herbs, spices that cover all the bases for every bodily function, so that we are assuring that we're getting in a one-stop shop all those nutrients we still need to eat. We still need carbohydrates, protein, fats, calories, but from a nutritional standpoint, from a nutrient to provide the body everything that should be in the foods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm wondering, we all like metrics. We all like to say, we went from here to here. So what strategies can we use to really monitor and measure the impact of these products on our clients' outcomes? Obviously I feel better is definitely a good metric, but are there other things that we can monitor or measure to make sure that they're making progress?
If somebody were to take a baseline of their lipid profile, take their cholesterol, their triglycerides, their glucose levels, etc., and just an overall wellness test, they would be able to physically, within 30 days of taking this product every single day, they would be able to do a measurable difference even on a test like that. I do have an enzyme product, a new one that we've just rolled out, that has a patent pending enzyme that actually converts 50 to 90% of the sugar you consume, even in a starch form, pasta, breads, cakes, cookies, whatever, converts that to fiber in the gut. Well, how do you measure that? Well, the idea is some of the underlying causes for a majority of the health issues we're dealing with today is these out of control glucose spikes and releasing insulin in our body to try and deal with it. But you can only deal with so much of it, so the rest of it's stored in fat. Well, if you're taking 50 to 90% of the sugar and converting that to fiber in the gut, it significantly flattens the glucose curve that is out of control. Yeah. And that's measurable. You can do it the very day if you have a glucose monitor or you prick your blood or so there are different ways to actually, besides physically noticing the difference, there are measurable ways to do it.
Yeah, a fascinating insight. And I'm sure everybody is thinking, how can I learn more? So if we want to learn more about you, about Optivida, the products that you offer, where can we go?
I have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel. If you go on to our website, www.Optivida Health, OPTIVIDA, Optivida basically stands for optimal life, OptividaHealth.com. There is a lot of research, a lot of the backup information, video information, etc., that, will educate and kind of show what each of these products are, what they do, what the science is behind them.
That's fantastic. And of course, links to everything that Frank mentioned, his YouTube, his website, will all be available on our website at saltmarketing.co. But right now, Frank, it is time for our lightning round questions. These are a few quick questions that I like to ask of every guest. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. First question is, what's the best book you've read recently?
It's a book called Whole. It's written by Dr. T. Colin Campbell, who is a professor emeritus of Cornell University. He wrote the book, The China Study. But it basically, it's a great book on whole food nutrition.
Very good. All right. Next question. What is your favorite thing about the work that you do?
The satisfaction I get with the incredible testimonials and responses and knowing that what I'm doing is significantly blessing and helping others as it's helped me.
Like the call you got this morning, I'm guessing. All right. Next question. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
That's a good question. Thing that I'm a little more focused on is not only my physical well-being, but my spiritual well-being and exercising faith and hope and trust of how to keep your life properly focused and priorities in the right place.
All right. Last question. Who or what inspires you?
Those that I work with and share the values and priorities that I do are inspiring to me. Those that kind of lead the way in a path that is designed to keep us on the straight and narrow and happy and healthy. So
yeah, I love that. All right, Frank, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of Worth Your Salt.
You're more than welcome. I appreciate it.
I also want to thank our listeners and let you know that if you're ready for your Worth Your Salt debut, tell us about your expertise by emailing us at grow@saltmarketing.co. Of course, be sure to subscribe on our website so you never miss an episode. Leave us a review or give the show a handful of stars wherever you get your content. That's all for this episode of Worth Your Salt. Be sure to join us again next Thursday. In the meantime, let's get out there and shake things up.